They say disappointment has a sound. Sometimes it's loud like a door slamming in your face. Other times it's quiet like the word. We regret to inform you, for John, it was both. He had the qualifications, the determination, the dream, but every door seemed to close until one slammed so hard it forced him towards a bigger one he never imagined. Hi everyone, my name is Remilekun Idowu and welcome back to our storytelling channel where real life lessons meet suspense, reflection and hope. To my returning family, thank you for riding with me again and again. And if you're new here, trust me, today's story will grip you from beginning to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. And if you've missed my previous powerful stories, check the playlist link above your screen. Now let's dive into John's story about rejection, resilience, and how sometimes a slammed door is actually a bigger one opening. Back in Nigeria, John had done everything right. He studied hard, earned his degree, passed his exams. He believed success was a matter of preparation, and he was prepared. Germany shimmered on the horizon like a promise. Good system, clear rules, the kind of place where hard work had a return policy. He arrived with a folder of documents and a quiet pride of someone who had met every deadline life set for him. But when he arrived, winter was harsher than any harmattan he had known. His jacket barely held back the cold. Still, he dressed neatly, ironed a shirt on an ironing board that wobbled, and walked into offices with confidence. The answers were consistent, almost rehearsed. Not hostile, not cruel, just firm. The answers came politely but cut like glass. You are qualified, but not the German way. You need a German qualification. No local experience, sorry. Suddenly, competence without the right stamp looked counterfeit. When doors close, you look for windows. So John found other roads and walked wherever he could. He stacked boxes in freezing warehouses, cleaned empty offices at night, handed flyers no one wanted, and washed dishes until his fingers blistered. He rode buses from job to job, whispering German words under his breath until his tongue bent around them. At night, coins clicked into a small bowl by his window. Proof that he was moving, even not forward, at least not backwards. But inside, hope stretched thin, and thin hope is fragile. Determined not to break, John saved every euro he could. He enrolled for a master's degree, convinced that with a German stamp on his resume, doors would open. Years of sweat, sacrifice, and sleepless nights led to graduation. He walked across the stage with pride, clutching his degree like a key. But when he knocked the office doors again, the doors still didn't open. This time, the answers changed language, but not meaning. He got responses like, profile doesn't fit, not enough German experience. The loop became cruel. No experience because no opportunity. No opportunity because no experience. John walked home under grey skies, feeling the silence in his chest louder than any rejection. Desperation pushed him into part-time shifts that helped him pay his rent. At his part-time work, a businessman noticed John's work ethics and the way he stayed calm at work, even under pressure. So this businessman engaged John in a conversation. "You're sharp," the man said, and that conversation turned into a chance, and that chance became a job. The job offer was not flattering. It was only half the usual salary. To John, it was something, so he accepted the offer with gratitude. For 4 years, he gave the company his all and worked like someone trying to outrun the memory of rejection. He was first in, last out. His billable hours were outstanding. Clients praised him, and even his boss knew he was an asset to the company. But every year when he asked for a raise, the answer from his boss was always the same. "Next year, next quarter, be patient." But the next never came, and it was obvious that he was being taken advantage of. Reality set in for John that there was never going to be growth, and his effort was not going to be rewarded. He even found out that all his other white colleagues got paid 2 or 3 times more than his salary. Even though John was grateful for the chance his boss took on him and was extremely loyal to his boss, he knew it was time to consider other options. He updated his CV and started applying to other companies, and with his experience, he now had an advantage. Then somehow, John's boss discovered he was quietly applying elsewhere. Disappointment didn't whisper this time. It screamed. The firing was instant, brutal, and public. The boss also threatened that he made him who he is, and he was going to make sure he never got a job within the industry ever again. The company accused him of betrayal, of disloyalty, and of risking company secrets, a tactic to destroy his reputation and save themselves the risk of a lawsuit and payout. There was no severance, no safety net. There was just the slam of the door echoing in his ears. John went back home to his wife, who worked part-time in a waxing studio and who was also searching for a more decent and permanent role. John was full of regrets. Only if he hadn't moved yet. John said to his wife, "If only I had just stayed still, or maybe the timing wasn't right. At least we were able to pay our bills with the little I got." All their plans and goals would have to hold on, as they even need to figure out how to survive paying their bills. They also both stared at the jar on their kitchen shelf with the label Canada on it. It held the dream they spoke about on quiet evenings, but now the dream of Canada now looked like a cruel joke. It felt like a big door of opportunity just closed, just like that, only because John tried to apply for another job. But they both knew that between collapse and recovery, there is always a moment when you choose to either vanish or fight. John chose to fight. He gathered references from grateful clients. He rewrote his CV and continued to send out applications, even when hope felt like lifting stone. A former colleague who was now working for another company had heard, so he told his manager, who told someone else, until the story reached the desk with actual authority. 8 weeks later, a call came from the company and asked him to send his CV. They gave him an offer immediately, and they doubled his old salary, gave him benefits, and most of all, trust and respect. For the first time in years, he breathed freely at work. Emails no longer made him flinch. He stopped begging for permission to leave work even after the close of work. And then came the email that changed everything: acquisition. His company was being absorbed by a global firm with offices worldwide, including Canada. John's dream country. The dream jar on their shelf suddenly wasn't a fantasy, it was a map. The plan they had been saving towards privately now had a front door with his badge on it. A role suddenly opened like a curtain in their Canadian branch. John applied for it and interviews followed. John got the job with a relocation benefit. Within months, John's transfer papers were approved. He and his wife packed their bags, landed in Vancouver, Canada, and walked into a new life. On his desk on the first day at work in Canada, he had a welcome card on his desk. Simple, signed by his new team. But for John, it was more than paper. It was proof that slammed doors aren't the end. They are redirection or even a protection. He and his wife still kept that jar, not because they needed it, but because vision needs a container. They have relabeled it many times: home fun, parents' visits, road trip. Each label is a reminder that sometimes blessings wear the coat of disappointments. John's story is proof that when one door slams, a larger one might already be opening. If the story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share it with someone who needs hope today. And don't miss my previous stories. You'll find them on my channel. This week, remember, rejection is not the end. It might just be the redirection you need. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and I'll see you next week with another powerful story. God bless you. God bless you, and bye.